After a day and night sailing, Charlie's cruise ship finally docked smoothly at the pier of Zhanghai. The cruise ship docked at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was 1.5 hours before Tianming, Honor and his son convened the board of directors. An hour and a half, which happened to be the time for the helicopter to fly, so Charlie could no longer catch up with the board of directors of the song group. However, although he can't keep up with the board of directors, at least he can appear in the press conference that follows. Warnya, Ruoli, and a few crew members of the Su family followed Charlie off the ship. In addition, there was also the vice president of Nippon Steel, Hashimoto, who was tied up. When the helicopter roared towards Oru's Hill, Tianming stepped into the largest conference room of the song group. At this moment, more than a dozen shareholders and directors of the group, including his son Honor, have arrived ahead of schedule, and they are all seated. As soon as Tianming entered, everyone stood up to greet him. Honor took the lead and said, "Hello, Chairman." The others froze for a moment, and then they followed suit and said in unison, "Hello, Chairman." Tianming pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose, smiled slightly humbly, waved his hand, and said, "Everyone has worked together for so many years, and we all know that I am very strict. Ms. Warnya, chairman of the song group, is still missing. Status, as it stands, is that I am just an acting chairman. Once Ms. Warnya comes back safely, she will be in charge of the overall situation." Everyone laughed and nodded. After all, from a legal point of view, as long as Warnya is not dead or internally impeached, she will still be the chairman of the song group. As for Tianming, he is indeed just an acting chairman. Once the boss comes, he must immediately step aside. Tianming sighed at this time. "I have put pressure on the TMPD many times in a row, strongly protesting their domestic security, and demanding that they must solve the case as soon as possible to find Chairman Song's whereabouts, but this useless tooth has not made any progress." Speaking of this, Tianming sighed and continued, "Although we can wait forever, from the perspective of the enterprise, the song group can have no chairman for a few days, but not a few months or even a few years. Chairman of the board cannot stay absent, therefore, I have gathered everyone here today to start the song group's emergency plan, temporarily abolish Warnya's chairmanship, and the board of directors will re-elect a new chairman to preside over the overall situation, till the situation is clear. Only in this way can we reassure our investors and shareholders, right?" Honor was the first to nod his head and said in agreement, "Now Chairman Song is missing, and there is a lot of suspicion from the outside world. Many people are rumoring that Chairman Song has passed away, and we can't provide strong evidence to prove that she is still alive, so the market's confidence in the Song Group has suddenly diminished, and our stock price is also falling. If this continues, the Song Group will suffer heavy losses." With that, Honor raised his voice a little bit and said loudly, "So I support the decision of acting chairman, and the board of directors will re-elect a new chairman to preside over the overall situation." Others exploded at once, and many people whispered underneath. These people are all shareholders of the song group, and they are most concerned about the future of the group. They have always praised Warnya's abilities and believe that she is capable of leading the song group to a higher level. In that case, all of them can get a lot of money from it. Therefore, if it is not the last resort, they don't want to replace Warnya. But the current situation is very special. It is not that her abilities are inadequate, but that this person is missing and no one has any idea about her location or safety. If they continue to wait so endlessly, not only their patience will be exhausted, but the patience of investors and stockholders will soon be exhausted. In that case, the Song Group will surely suffer heavy losses. After thinking about it, they all acquiesced to Tianming's proposal, believing that the best solution now is to elect a formal chairman as soon as possible to stabilize the situation. So someone spoke. "I support the decision of the acting chairman." "Me too." When Honor saw this, he was overjoyed and hurriedly said, "Then let's express our views on the spot. There are 17 people present today. As long as there are more than 8 people who agree to elect the new chairman, we will formally pass the appointment of the acting chairman. Propose, and then start the voting process." Having said that, he stood up and said, "I am the first to agree to elect a new chairman." Tianming also looked serious and said, "As the initiator of this matter, I agree too. Below one person stood up. I agree too. Count me. I agree. Honor nodded and said, very well, there are already 4 people now. I agree. Me too. As more and more people agreed, Honor became more and more excited. Soon, the number of people who agreed on the scene reached 9. 17 people, the voting watershed is 8 and they have 9 votes. If there are only 8 votes, it is not more than half. According to the regulations, it will not be passed. But as long as there are 9 people, it is already more than half. According to the regulations, the proposal has been approved by the board of directors. In the end, the number of people who expressed their consent reached 14. Tianming cleared his throat and said earnestly, since there are 14 people who agree to the election of the new chairman, I will formally announce on behalf of the board of directors that Ms. Warnia's position as chairman will be temporarily terminated. Next, we will enter the new director election process. Honor applauded eagerly while keeping in mind the 3 people who did not raise their hands. At the same time, he secretly thought, these 3 bastards have no vision at all. When my dad becomes the chairman of the board, it's up to me. I will kill you 3 old dogs at once. At this time, one of the persons who did not raise their hands agreed and said, everyone, since the life and death of Chairman Warnia is unknown, when we temporarily abolish her chairmanship, we must also have a preparation plan. Honor stared at the other party and asked coldly, Mr. Terrence, what do you mean by preparing the plan? The man known as Terrence Jem said, if Ms. Warnia really died unexpectedly, then naturally the new chairman will take charge of the work according to everyone's current decision. Speaking of this, he changed his mind and said, however, if Ms. Warnia is still alive and we have elected a new chairman, then once Ms. Warnia comes back, can she directly take back the position of the chairman? In other words, after her return, the new chairman who will be elected next will take the initiative to abdicate and let her take the charge back.